Good afternoon, everyone. I see everyone missing the first row. Is it like a normal thing in the classroom? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming to our presentation. Thanks to TM Forum for giving us the opportunity. Our Catalyst Driver Connect, in this Catalyst, what we are demonstrating is how in an ecosystem partners can come together and provide a personalized driver journey incorporating AI, proactive upsell, and which are enabled by 5G enabled services. So in the panel we have Andy Froling from Nokia, Peter Work from Jaguar. I'll give the floor to them where they will tell us about the work that they do and where the kind of work contributions from the companies, and we will go through the little bit more details for the Catalyst. Our champion, we are really proud and privileged to have Jaguar Land Rover as our champion. And in the true spirit of champion, they actually helped us define what problems and the scope of the problems that we actually tried solving. They also have been very consistent, and thanks to the Jaguar team, constantly guiding us throughout the entire process, defining the solution and scoping the solution. We have Cerulean. We have Dominic and Brian Coombs from Cerulean. We have Texi, and we, of course, Salesforce and Nokia. I didn't have a chance to introduce myself. I'm Abisur. I'm a global solution lead in the communications and the media industry group from Salesforce. This is one slide I'm very proud of, and I think every team member in our Catalyst is very proud of. We had a global team across 7 countries. We have 27 plus members, and because there are a lot of people more who are not represented here who took part in the Catalyst. And as you can see in this particular slide, I don't show the name of the companies because we came together executing a common vision that we all had of providing the personalized customer journey. Now with that, let me pose a question to you, Peter. First of all, will you tell us a little bit about yourself and let the team, people here know who you are and about the work that you do?
So hi all, I'm Peter Work, so I'm the Director of Connected Car and Future Technology at Jaguar Land Rover. And I guess I have the pleasure of guiding our team to drive not only today's but also tomorrow's connected car platforms. We launched our platforms in 2014, and since then we have over 1.5 million active cars using our systems today, both telematics, the remote application, and obviously in-car entertainment services that are connected to the cloud. So a whole host of things have been happening today. The key thing for us is now collaborating with the wider groups, as we've seen here today with the team, about what we can do tomorrow to actually improve our user experiences.
Perfect, perfect. So Peter, question for you. We know that the automotive industry is changing, it's disrupting the way we have been doing business. You live and breathe it every day, right, for quite many years. So what do you think the Driver Connect Catalyst brings? What specific problems did it attempt to solve? And what are some of the benefits of this Catalyst that you see that you'd like to share?
Sure thing. So a number of things there. Firstly, I'll start with, I guess automotive is seeing more changes in the last few years and in the up and coming 4 to 5 years than it's probably seen in the last 30-year history. And a lot of that is brought together with, I guess, enables in technology, hardware, but also software and cloud connectivity. And obviously, the consumer space is actually brought into a connection where you can obviously, people want to connect with their mobile phones into the vehicle. And in the early days, you know, when you wanted to connect the car, it was simple as just Bluetooth connectivity. Since then, it's moved on because from a customer perspective, and I must remind everybody, it's always about our customers. What they've seen is the benchmark for them in the past was, hey, I like this model and this model can have this new functionality. And they were comparing and benchmarking between, you know, brands and so forth. But now the benchmark in the technology space is all of those technologies that people use at home. So if you think about some of the AI or the machine learning voice recognition platforms, people naturally think, well, why can't I interact with my vehicle in the same way? And the same with the mobile app. Now, we've been on that journey where we've tried to bridge that gap together by mobile phones being connected in the vehicle, so they reduce driver distraction, so customers can listen to their music and work on their platforms, but then also allow that remote interaction. The key thing, I guess, from the work that we did here was, I think it was the collaboration. And the change that we also see at Jaguar Land Rover is it's collaborating with different partners in a different industry. For years, we've worked with the traditional tier one suppliers and partners who have helped us, bring our vehicles and launch them and update them. But in this space, and if you think about the technology space, the partnerships are becoming different. It's not just about the tech that's inside the car, it's the tech that connects people's lifestyles together. And that's those ecosystems. And one of the good things about this forum was it gave us an open platform to think differently, to think about our customers, not just when they use their cars, but through the whole life cycle piece. Right from up front, I'm thinking about a Jaguar Land Rover, what do I want it to do, how can it help me, to the retail experience, and then obviously when I get my car, I want to maximize and enjoy it. But then if you look going forwards, we've also got to think it from a business and an enhancement. How can we use technologies like e-commerce and allow our customers to purchase new subscriptions or services? Because they're the things that are changing, not only in the automotive space, but again, in the consumer space, right? I want to add something new. I want to, change the way I utilize something. And in the automotive space, we've been talking about ACEs, and at JLR we call that autonomous, connected, electrified, and shared. Now, connectivity is there. We started it in 2014. Electrification we started a year ago, and obviously most recently launched the Jaguar I-Pace, which I will mention was World Car of the Year, that we got the award early last month. And that's brought a new context of our customers wanting to know how much electricity is in my car. How do I know through an app? And one of the best things I would say about the customer piece and what we've done in this forum and being on the calls with everybody is actually think outside the normal domain. Think how other partners can help us. Think about not just the car, but the connectivity, the landscape. Yes, we've got to give the customer experience the key thing, but then how do we use our partners in the best way? And the only way that you can do that is by collaborating in an open way, expose some APIs, allow people to explore and partner in different ways. And I think that is the real game changer for us. So really excited about what we've done today, but
Nice.
More excited about where we can then take it.
No, nice, perfect. And the team really appreciated the opportunity and the feedback to work with Jaguar. And I think you bring up a very good point as we say that the best experience for today's customer, it becomes an expectation everywhere, right? So that's a key part. It's no longer a point. But that kind of leads very well to the question for you, Andy. But before I ask you the question, please tell us a little bit about yourself. And you.
Sure, thanks, Abhi. My name's Andy Fruehling. I've got responsibility at Nokia for our solutions in our suite areas, really kind of broadcasting and talking about what we do across the broader software organization for Nokia. My personal passion, what I've done for the last few years, been very focused, as Peter kind of talked about, on the actual experience of the end customer. How do we go out and change the experience of the end customer and help, in my case, working with a lot of telecom operators, the way they go out and broadcast and give more of an Amazon-like experience to their end customer. Look at what people are doing in different spaces and bring that to telecom. I think this project's been great from my perspective because it actually does start to bring across the ecosystem together in places where we've talked to different companies in the area, but not really at the level we're sharing at this point. We actually start, even before the call here, we're talking about eSIMs, the stuff we're taking place here. We're approaching it from two different angles. We're both involved in dealing with eSIM or with different parts of connected car and FODA and SODA and those types of things, but from different parts of the old expression about the blind man and the elephant. We're all doing it from different parts of the elephant. Now we're actually talking to each other to figure out what we actually have here and what we can do together. It's been really a rewarding experience for myself and I think for the broader team working as well. So
Perfect. So as we have seen it working through the Catalyst, the stitching and harmonizing the digital and the physical journeys is the way to go forward, and Peter alluded to that. So keeping that in mind, what do you think this particular Catalyst, what are some of the benefits and what are some of the features that this Catalyst brings and some benefits? Could you throw some light on that?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing I wanted to do with this Catalyst project too, and we're putting together here, is I wanted to make sure it was something that was easily to express and see what we're showcasing. Too many often you see presentations that are done with slides and those types of things, and that's all good. It's important. We have our slides up here as well. But somehow, my team that knows me knows I like to see the blinking lights. I like to see something physical you can look at and talk about. Most people are visual, so giving them something to look at. So we started off by saying, we know we want to show here. We know who we're trying, what industry we're trying to work with. How can I show that? And that's when they came up with the idea of using Lego cars and the blinking lights on the cars. And the team really, in my opinion, went above and beyond to put not just blinking lights on a couple of cars, but an entire city down there that you can actually drive around and see on the map and the location and those types of things. So it's great to kind of see the physical aspects and the software aspects coming together to really visualize what we're doing in this case and how these types of scenarios can work, just to understand how it's working. Now, on top of that, some of the openness that Peter talked about, and some of the APIs coming together here to allow us to do the connectivity across the board on those areas. So allowing us to actually connect up the three main use cases being talked about up there. One of the ones that I talk about quite a bit is the over-the-air updates. So at Nokia, we do over-the-air updates for all types of devices, cell phones, set-top boxes, you name it, we do updates for it. We do work with automotive industry in different sectors, but still do some of that area as well. What this starts to do is bring that all the way into the front end piece. So we're looking at connecting the process again, focused on the experience of the end driver, the end consumer. How do we connect the dots to say, yes, we do over-the-air updates. Yes, Salesforce does the experience of actually doing the purchase and walk through the process, what happens there. How to put all those pieces together to make the experience of the end customer better when it's all said and done. So you talk about what we call the onboarding process, or when you first purchase the car and you go through that routine of getting the car set up correctly and saving time in that area. So a use case that came from our discussion with Peter said that is a costly bit of time that is inconvenient for the purchaser. We've all been there. You buy a car. The hard part is always making the decision to buy the car. Once you've made it, what do you want to do? Get in my car, go out on the road and drive. You don't want to be going through more paperwork or waiting for a system to be set up, the turn up time of the updates of your devices and all that stuff. It should be pre-configured automatically to apply to your car. Likewise, we're doing updates over the air for when the cars are actually need service repairs or updates done or firmware updates. Just like your phone gets updates, your car needs updates. You shouldn't have to take it into the shop to do that. It should be an over-the-air update. Just like your phone, you come up and you start your car in the morning. It says, would you like to update? You have these updates ready. Do you want to do them now, yes or no? If you say yes, you should apply those updates to it automatically. Some of the AI analytics stuff is pretty exciting. We're showing downstairs as well, is in the notion of how do you plot your course to go from, if I'm going from point A to point Z, and I've got an electric vehicle, as Peter kind of alluded to, how do I map that course out? Where are the charging stations for that? How do I make sure that that charging station is working and that charging station is available at the time that I get there? It's not like you pull in for gas and you fill up and in 5 minutes you're done. You need to book an hour or so to sit there and charge your car at that point in time. How can you plan your route out? How can you apply the actual reservation, make sure it's there when you get there and do those types of things? So really focus on a number of different areas to change the experience for that end driver, make it more seamless, more integrated with the way he or she is operating the car on that aspect. And hopefully the Legos weren't just fun for us, they make it a way for you to see and visualize what we've done there. So.
Yeah, no, thank you. So to summarize what Andy was saying, we are in this use case, in this demonstration, we have 3 use cases. We started with a lot. Thankfully, Peter and his team, like a thesis professor, curtailed us. No, you can't do all this. And we have 3 months. So we kind of scoped down to 3, realizable one, and we're very privileged to do that. So the first use case is around the branded handover experience, which is a big pain point for any automotive provider, where it's a long handover experience. Customer kind of does not have enough knowledge of all the features. So in the branded handover experience, we are showcasing proactive care, selling. We also have an open API integration with Cerulean, where the customer is buying the recommended services, and so on. And then also a visual assistance tool for a customer to go through the features at their own pace, on their own. That's the tech C's part, right? So the use case 2 is also very interesting. This is more from a service perspective. When the solution proactively decides that the customer would need assistance and not wait for the customer to create a trouble ticket. So we kind of get a sense that, okay, the tire pressure is low, so we create a case. That's where the Nokia's Impact platform through the SMP, creates a case. And then we have a video chat enabled through the chatbots and trying to help the customer do it themselves. And when they cannot, we dispatch a field service technician, right? And one of the key innovations, we think it's innovation, is that how to bring in the technician experience, the arrival of the technician experience, almost like an Uber experience, where the customer can track the arrival of the technician and kind of the whole idea is convert the anxiety into delight. And the third one is the range anxiety use case, where I don't own any electric vehicle, but friends who do, they always tell about the new range anxiety. And this is something very interesting because nobody has a petrol or a gas anxiety, but why do we have an anxiety when it comes to electric vehicles? But it seems like very relevant. So the use case here, what we have tried to do is to help the customer find and locate a charging station which has a high probability of being available, right? So, and then we went a step further is that, okay, we are telling you a charging station based on big data or predictive analytics that this is high availability, has a chance of high availability, and then give you the possibility of making a reservation for that, because many times we know it's available, by the time we go it's not available anymore. So we went a step further, we're making the station available, and then that's where the stitching of the digital and the physical journeys come together. So I like to highlight in the next slide, I don't know how much we're doing in the time wise. You're good? Okay. So this is the lasagna slide of all the components, right? So let's talk about it. Some of the components that we have incorporated. So obviously, let me start middle and then go south and go north, all right? So in the middle we have Nokia's. We're using two products from Nokia, and I'll try my best, Andy, to highlight as well as I know. Two products from Nokia, Impact and SMP. Impact is the integrated solution for your device management and data collection, which comes in together for doing the overhead, the OTA provisioning, as well as sending the telematics data, which is integrated with the SMP layer, which does all the assurances and the workflows integrated with Salesforce. Together with that, we have this Cerulean's subscription management platform, which is actually exposing the OpenAPI TM the 622, right, for the product ordering functionalities. So Cerulean has been a pioneer in exposing a lot of the ordering capabilities and the charging functionalities which we have taken advantage of. Coming to the north side of the layer is the Salesforce Customer Engagement Platform. What we are doing here is we are using the engagement platform for exposing the customer 360-degree view for all the partners in the ecosystem. Whether it is, we have partners like the smart city provider and the roadside assistance provider. We are also using the different workflow capabilities, and above all, the Einstein or the AI capabilities, which Andy and Peter talked about. Finally, one of the coolest thing of this is the Texi, the visual assistance tool, which is essentially your built-in tool for giving the visual assistance and the visual augmented reality, and it kind of seamlessly integrated with the live chat, and where you are not only explaining the features of the customer that they have purchased, as well as during the service scenario, helping the customer solve the problem on their own. So what I like, this is a very high level thing, and there are a lot of details to this, and for each of these use cases. And I'd really welcome you guys to go downstairs and watch the demo in action, both the physical journey and the digital journey. But if you have some time, Tandy, we are more than happy to take any questions from the people. Do we have any time? Yeah. All right. So anybody from the audience and a question? So I have a question for you maybe, while people think, give them a little bit of a time to think. What would be some of the next steps that both of you think that where we could take this Catalyst from here? What do you guys think?
So I guess a couple of things, just to add a context. I think the first thing is what the team here have achieved, taking a problem statement, but not just solving the problem statement, actually exceeding some of the expectations. And I think that's what our customers are looking for. And I guess the best context I can think of is, you think about an IoT device, right? Well, a vehicle is a big, large IoT device. And if you look at what's happening and where it's going with, smart cities and infrastructure, the car is full of sensors. The cities around us will be full of sensors, and that will be all linked together with 5G, and obviously through the work that we're doing collectively in the 5G AA, we'll be able to bring those bits together. I think that's one powerful piece. The next powerful piece is it's making sure that it adds sense and relevance to customers and people on the road. I have, I guess, one key aspect, which is allow our customers enjoy their driving. So take some of that stuff away from them and use AI and machine learning to work out some of the things like charging, and so I don't have to be worried about range anxiety. Take the friction away from when I get there, just pay for it, because I've linked all my systems up. So that's the first thing I see. And then when I drive and I'm in a city, take me the best route and avoid obstacles. Where we need to take this, I guess, forwards for me is, how do we start to make this open industry standard where we can actually start to collaborate and work with one another to actually make things and bring them to life. And not an individual organization or company can do that. And I guess, as it's in its name, the Catalyst, actually this process speeds it up. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier was the Lego piece. What I really like about the Lego piece is very quickly you can bring it to life. It's not just a PowerPoint. So, in terms of R&D, you can make sure it works on it, you can refine it, iterate it, and then we can go to the next step. So it really brings that design thinking piece in. But for me, this is a great Kickstarter to actually look at a platform where you can actually do things for the greater good, and vehicles talking to one another, bring customer delight, but also an element of personalization, because over time, when the systems get to know the customer, you can actually start to target the right things when you want it and when you need it. That's what our customer is expecting, that frictionless interaction with cars.
Yeah, right. And do you like to add anything more to that?
Actually a great summary. Maybe just kind of almost extending on some of those things, but I think the notion of taking a lot of those things we did so far a bit deeper, and going deeper into some of the over-the-air updates and things we can do in those areas, going deeper into the 5G AA and how that applies to what we're doing here, I think is great to do. I think what you kind of elaborate on there, but it's one of the things that you touched on, which I think is critical for us, is what can we do to apply more AI in this process, put more of the thinking in the car, in the machinery, in the environment, taking more of the data from some of these other sources too, and feed into it to make it more intuitive. If I think back to, those that know me know I'm an Apple fan through and through, and that happened about 5-6 years ago when I got my first, maybe 8 years ago when I got my first iPhone, and it just worked. And I started to see it, and not only did it work, it intuitively knew what I wanted to do in different places. Now other phones do it as well, so most phones do that now. But at that point, it was something new and different. And I think we can expect the same thing from our cars. Our cars need to just know that when I'm doing this type of an area, I'm driving this location, I might want to know about these types of things because of who I am, Andy Fruehling, driving in this area. I go here all the time. I stop here 3 out of 4 times. Maybe it knows that and helps me do something better because it knows those things. I'd like to see us I don't know what the use cases are exactly, but I'd like to see us think of different use cases that start to really change the experience of the end customer in that car and give them a good reason for why they're in that technology advanced automobile in the first place. Give them some benefit of being in that's different than what you get from your ordinary car.
Right, perfect. So I think we are kind of up for time, is it? All right, thank you. Thank you all for coming. What we'd really like is have each one of you go downstairs, take a look at the video. If you, don't take my word, don't take our word for it. Go and see it for yourself, see it real. And we'd love to kind of answer any questions there if you haven't. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.